Who's got something good? Tell me something good. We're going to kick off. We got Pauly D with us today, but energy is a renewable resource. Who's going to share some energy with us? Tell me something good. Somebody was talking that I talked over. I can see all of you. Thanks for being on camera. But there's a little
Hi,
button
good
right
morning,
there where you unmute.
everybody.
I love it. Somebody keeps starting talking and stopping talking. Lauren Hammond, tell me something good.
I'm alive. I'm feeling good. The snow is melting in Virginia because it's gonna be 60 degrees today. That makes me happy. Yeah, I don't know, I'm feeling good.
I love it. Aaron Ward, tell me something good. Love to see your face.
Yeah, no, this is good. I'm excited to be on this and see everybody. This is really cool. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Aaron just found out she's going to be a speaker this year. Thank you, Aaron.
Sounds
Uh, no, I love it. Listen, gotta be a bunch. Hey, I see a bunch of faces on here. I am really excited. We're about to kick this thing off. All right, let's start the recording, Julianne. Boom. Let's pin Paulie and I. Let's get this going. So, welcome to another episode of Grid Tactical Tuesday. We are joined this morning by my good friend, Paulie D, right? Grid Tactical Tuesday is our gift back to all of our friends in the agent community. It is our way to recreate what has been so beneficial to us. My career totally transformed when I started showing up in person. Paulie was just talking about this a little bit in his office setup he has right now. Proximity is power. When I started spending time with people again and again, they treat me like a peer. I cannot believe that, when I'm around Paulie, I know that my standards for myself are not negotiable, right? Because Paulie doesn't treat me like we have a different level of enthusiasm, motivation, potential, right? And Paulie can literally run through cars. uh, yes, he has. Yeah, a real inspiring story at our last Clever You. So Paul was the number one agent at ERA down in Destin, Florida, right? So we're talking the Gulf Coast right there, the beautiful Panhandle, uh, Redneck Riviera, whatever you want to call it. Um, so he had actually Redneck Riviera's in Tampa. It's not the Panhandle anymore. Paulie was there. Paulie was the number one agent. That room wasn't big enough. Paulie has gone on to make some changes on his career, but he is an incredible uh, agent. He's an incredible person. He's an accomplished athlete, right? He is somebody who runs Motivation Monday for the Glover U coaching company, but most importantly, he is an agent in production with a high level of production who is passionate about helping other agents take business. And that's what we do here at Tactical Tuesday. Is we're going to leave you with some tactics that you can implement in your business today. Paulie, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, so we're talking about dominating when your listings are on the market, right? And so how do we dominate the market while listings are staying, right? So this is something. It was a season. It was a season that happened. You can't change the season. You can't change the market. You can't change the tide, right? But what you could do is you could pivot. And so I always love the pivot, right? Because all things are equal, right? If Aaron is going through it, or Tim is going through it, or Lauren, or Julianne is going through it, or Sylvia's going through it, right? Sylvia's going through it. Like, we're all going through it. So what are we going to do? We're going to just talk about it, and we're going to have a conversation with Dustin about it. Like, oh man, Dustin, these listings are on the market for so long, right? Like, oh, this sucks. No, it means that everything is equal for everybody. So how do we pivot? And so what I'm going to talk about is how I ended up, like last year, I was up 18% in my business. Like, how did that happen? Because my listings stayed on the market longer, but I leveraged everything that was being seen to gain more business and become the authority. See, if your listings sell fast, it doesn't have time to populate or stay in a place consistently long enough so that you become the authority. So when our listings end up staying on the market longer, we get to become the authority, because when people are searching, they're seeing us. And so we're going to talk about the 3 things in a long listing market that you will either have you dominating or straight up dying. That's it. That's what we're going to talk about.
I love it, Paulie, right? It's little Sun Tzu, right? How do I turn my weakness into my strength? I had the opportunity of working for an REO business down in Tampa that sold 3,000 houses. Tampa was the 3rd hardest hit market in the country. So 2011, 90% of their inventory is foreclosures, right?
Yep.
And we're able to ride that wave and create massive mind share because, to your point, Paul, we had signs in yards.
Yep.
There's always signs in yards. I love it. Paulie,
All right.
if you got any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll be taking some pauses. Paulie, I'm going to let you cook.
All right, let's go. So, guys, write this down. Here's the top line. If they don't know you exist, you're not an option. Right? If they don't know you exist, you're not an option. And so now that listings are staying on the market longer, then we become more of an option if we do it correctly. So I received a call in the beginning of the year, and it was from a couple that was moving here from Virginia to our area in a military base. Her name was Emma and Greg. And when they called me, I always source the source, right? Like, how did you find me? And what they said was, well, we were looking on Zillow for homes and you kept coming up. Now, we don't necessarily like the homes that you have on the market because they don't fit what we're looking for, but we loved how you presented it. And if you can present it that way, we figured you would know the buyer's agent to work with. And if you do work with buyers, would you work with us? And I went, holy smokes. I just had realized what I had been doing, which was already a standard, was now something that inspired people to call me and what I call inspire the hire. So the thing is, what does your online presence look like with the listings that you have staying on the market? Do you just have like a handful of pictures? Is the description saying 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom? Like, yeah, they know 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom because it's in the description. That's what they were searching for. So why are you saying that again in your description? Right? The pictures, what do the pictures look like? I make sure that we have at least 5 championship shots for every single listing. 5 championship shots that I tell my photographer that every week I want to switch my profile picture, and I want one of those 5 to be able to be my profile picture so that it inspires the hire. And so when I also started to add into the description things that they can't see. So for us, military base, how far from the military base, right? How close to the parks, because we have kids. How close is the dog park? Things like that inspire people to be like, oh yeah, he knows the area. Oh, that house, I wonder where that house is. Oh, wow. Oh, he's got all the information there. And so then I started using my listings as a buyer tool. Because where do your listings really show up? They show up on Zillow. They show up on homes.com. They show up on Google. They show up on realtor.com. And these sites are more for buyers. I mean, yes, sellers, they'll jump on there and compare their home and every once in a while. But boy, you get a buyer that is serious, they are straight up doom scrolling these sites. And when they're doom scrolling these sites, what are they seeing? Listings that are active, not listings that are sold. So you could say, oh, I sold 100 homes. And if you're selling them too quick, you know what? Buyers aren't going to see you. because they're not looking for an agent yet. They're looking at the listings first, and then they pick an agent.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you start to have your listings come up and they look consistent, now, of course, right, we ask like, well, price, Paul, price is what, right? Okay, price, you're correct. Price, yes, 100%. That's a thing. But if your listing looks so good, people will kind of look at it and go, well, that's out of my price range, but that still looks good. They won't blame you for that. They'll blame the seller. And if your listing looks so good, you can't be blamed. Especially if it's getting the views, especially if it's getting the likes, especially if it's getting the shares, because these are indicators that you can bring back to the seller to say, hey, listen, you're getting a lot of views, you're getting a lot of shares, you're getting a lot of likes. Marketing's working. Could be only one thing: price. And we could have that price conversation very, very easy. So we look at our listings like this. What does your bio look like? Your personal bio, your personal picture. How many filters did you go through before you decided to find the right filter that made you look beautiful? I had a lot of filters. I mean, you could see, I got a filter on right now. You can't even really see how bad this thing looks right here, right? But how many filters did you do? And then also, how are you describing yourself? Social media, on all of your platforms, like, it's inspiring. This is what your listing should be like. Think of your listing like every single listing is like your bio, because it's a reflection of you. So if we look at it like that and we change that paradigm to where the photos are professional and clean, like I want the world to see me personally, and then my description is like how I want the world to read my bio and think that I'm so amazing, pick me as your agent, and that's how the listings description should be. We don't just list to sell, we list to inspire and attract. Now,
say that one more time.
We don't just
write that down.
Yeah, write that down. We don't just list to sell, we list to inspire and attract. And now, let me ask you, out of this group, how many here have read The One Thing or heard of The One Thing? How many here by hand, show of hands? Okay, so we do the one thing that if we did that one thing, everything would be easier and or unnecessary. So if you list to inspire, to sell yourself, you, the agent, then what will happen is you will write the listing so that it inspires to sell, because it has to sell, because it's in the best possible looking way and position. So if we stop thinking, let's get this listing on the market so that I can sell this thing real quick. Ooh, I got a listing. Let's just get it on the market. And start thinking, all right, let's get this listing on the market, but I want this thing to attract. You will then do what you need to do to get the listing on the market to sell. And now the seller will have 100% zero objections when it comes down to, it's got to be the price. Because the house looks so great. And now, the longer it stays on the market, the more authority I get. Because people go, yeah, the house is overpriced, but it looks phenomenal. So that's the part one.
Let's click on that for a second, Paulie. I love that. So a couple of things. How long have you been in the business, Paul?
I've been in the business for 10 years.
Great. So before everything went totally insane.
Yes.
And we were net fishing out there, right? I think started on the residential side maybe 17 years ago, right? And so having lived through very different markets where it was very normal for homes to sit on the market for 6 months, this is what we want, right? We control inventory. When I go show Paul, man, he has those touches. Man, the keys have the little key tag and there's the booties and like, right? Now the candles are there. Like, how do you keep a home on the market in show-ready condition for a sustained period of
Always.
time? Which we may get to, right? So I love this. What you're talking about, just to click on this, when you said, and we'll come back to that because I think we just talked about how we're approaching the listings. We're going to inspire the hire. I love that. And you said your 5 photos. Are we talking about those 5 photos on Zillow? Like, hey, my 5 first photos,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be just the foyer, right? I want my 5 best features above the fold of the home. The first 5 should be my showcase shots, right?
Yep. And then also what I do is I switch it up on the MLS so that the 5 are always it's constantly giving it a new look so that the first photo that's being seen on the sites is just something different where they go, oh, that looks different. Oh, that's the same property that we did that one. Or that looks different. Oh, wow, who's the agent for that? Oh, Paul again. Oh, Paul again. Oh, Paul again, right?
Do you get the feedback that your client, because of that, that the people that are attracted to you have seen that property multiple times because
Oh,
they didn't recognize it as the same. They thought it's a new property, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And I am getting buyers from this. If you go to my Google reviews, you'll see one recently from that person Emma that I just talked about saying how she found me. She found me because they were looking for listings, and when they were looking at listings, mine just kept coming up like nice, professional, above everybody else's, and they were like, "We got to call this guy." It's happened multiple times where this is now driving a lot of my business. And here's another little like paradigm shift for you guys. When you put a sign in a yard, the listing doesn't necessarily have to sell right away for you to make impact. But if it doesn't sell right away, it can kill you if you allow the lawn to grow, if you allow the bushes to get out of control, if you forget the listing, because remember, that sign is an advertisement for the neighbors to use you. So if you think I've got a listing, it's got to look so good that the neighbors will hire me when it sells, then you will take care of the listing the way that it's supposed to be taken care of in order for it to sell. You won't let it get out of control to where if somebody is interested, they will roll up and go, man, this yard is looking kind of dingy. So we think of if the listing is in the yard, if the sign is in the yard, the sign is to inspire the neighbors to hire me, because the longer it is on the market, all other agents let their listings get stale. We don't. People see that. People see that. And when it finally does sell and you knock on the door, they'll be like, yeah, you guys listed that house pretty high. Like, yeah, we did. And that was part of the strategy in which we did, but we had a price reduction situation. We got it sold for the highest amount in the shortest amount of time. And the house looked great. And they're like, yeah, no, you guys doing open houses all the time. I saw your stuff. That is awesome. You become a working realtor, and that's what people want right now.
Paul, how do I, if I've not done this before, right? Everything's sold. If it's sold in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What am I doing to present that at a high level? Is it staging? Is it landscaping? What are my tips for them to actually live in the house, keep it show ready?
As far as for a new agent, you said? I'm sorry.
No, just for somebody who's not, they could be a season. If they've only been doing this 5 years. I have
Yeah.
agents up in Nova where it's still like what the inventory is still 2 months.
Oh, so they're
They're
selling
not
quick.
living. Yeah, they're
Yeah, I
cranking.
got you. This is the next part. The next part, number 2, because this is three things, right? So the first one is getting the listings to look like phenomenal when they're sitting on the market, right? So what are my days on market? My days on market is about 3 months. That's my average. But I also have $1 million listings, and then I have like lower, like $300,000. So it averages out. But in our average price range, mine is 45 days because mine always looks better than everybody else's. I get all the attention.
What are you
And that's
doing
why.
what's your standard that makes it look better than everyone else's, Paulie?
Oh, right off the bat, like We pressure wash the driveway, we pressure wash the outside, we put down new mulch. So I have on my team, we do something called Labor Days. If you go to my Instagram, you will be entertained and also like information as well. So it's infotaining. But we do something called Labor Days, right? People want to see you doing the work. Look, like I do open houses still, and I'm selling 100 transactions. I don't have a team. I'm a rainmaker. So I have buyer's agents, right? But I handle all the leads. I transfer all the leads to the people. I do all the listing presentations, and I'm still out there mulching houses. People want to see somebody work, right? So right off the bat, I'm doing all of that. You've got to make first impressions look good. So I have a strategy where I call this a chain effect. When you step onto that property, how long does it take for you to get to something that you would say, ooh, what's that about, right? So walking up to the house, pressure washing, easy. Lawn done, easy. Mulch, easy. Bushes cut, easy. Okay, well, doorbell. Cobwebs inside the atrium, right? Easy. Doorbell. Does it work? Because I don't care who you are. Some kid, mom, brother, uncle, whoever's with them is going to press that doorbell. And if that doorbell isn't working, that breaks the chain. Now they're looking for something else, right? You want them to be able to continue that chain to where they can walk through the house, start walking through the house, and then they go, ooh, I don't really like the color of that bedroom, but everything else was pretty nice. So like we could paint that and then move on. But if you roll up and the driveway is just dingy, right off the bat, the color of the room is going to dead it 100%. So even if they don't like the house, you want them to be inspired by the way that the house looks so that they're using yours as a comparable to everybody else's. So let's get into the second one, because this is where it really actually starts to turn up. So all that's just your standard. That should just be your standard all day, every day, has been, shouldn't change. That should be how you drive forward. The second one now, this is where my everything changed for me this year. So I was a sphere of influence guy, right? I did database, past referral customers, referral from agents. And I was looking on Google at the beginning of the year, and it really pissed me off. Sorry, it really pissed me off because I'm looking and I'm going, why am I like number 15? I'm number 1 in our area and I'm still number 15. I don't get it. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to spend the money for it. How about this just be based on production? You know, the participation award, the real producers, all that stuff in the magazine. And you're like, what? Come on, right? And so as I started to look at it and I started comparing profiles, I realized that we were better, but we were not gaining any traction. And so Erin Ward, whom I love to death, I had this conversation with her and she's like, dude, how does your profile look on all platforms? I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, Google your name. So write this down, guys. Google your name with real estate. And what are the platforms that you come up on that have a profile? Now, go to those profiles and do they all have the exact same spelling, the exact same address, the exact same phone number, and the exact same website on all of them? This part right here, guys, is gold. There was 29 people on the call earlier. There's 27. I'm counting this. So if you leave, I know who you are. But I'm telling you, this right here, those people, they just missed out on the gold. This is where the gold is made. Because the fact of the matter is, people are Googling. They don't want to use their mother. They don't want to use their brother that just started. They want to use somebody right now that is important because they had the pain of what was done in the past couple of years where either high interest rates or really hard to sell a house. They want a professional. So if you're not showing up on Google, that is not an advantage. So what Google does, so I gave you the 4. What Google does is Google looks at the whole, and then says, who's the most authentic and repeatable on the web, right? And so it goes Paul A. Domenech, Paul Domenech, Paul Andreas Domenech, 123 Happy Lane, 124 Ghost Street. It's like, well, those are all different people. So we're going to bottom all the way down, and then we're going to push the person that has Paul Domenech, 11 Racetrack Road, 850-543-1418. It's Pauly.com. This guy comes up everywhere, consistently the same. He must be the authority. I'm going to push it up. Because then what it does is it searches for spam, right? And if it's consistent in all of these spots, it's less likely to be spam. So what it will do is it'll push you right up to the top. Now, do reviews matter? Yes, they matter, of course, because once it pushes you up, it wants to see that you got people that are engaging with you, because if they're engaging and they're leaving reviews, that means that you're an authentic person. Pictures of your area, pictures of what you got going on, pictures from the events in your town and community in which you are addressed need to go in your Google profile, because it says, oh, this guy is real. This is the authority. It wants to give people an experience that will avoid them from going to a different search engine like Bing or Yahoo or something else. So if you just get this right, 3 months, I guarantee you, you will jump. If you're in 15, you will jump at least 10 spots without spending a dime. That's number 2. So where does your Google and what does your profile look like? I mean, I went so far as to change and make sure that my Uber and my DoorDash and when I fill out my Amex, everything is exactly the same. And if it's my own personal spot, like if I'm using my home address, it's done exactly the same. So now, no matter what, I'm getting anything that I have to do with my home easily searchable credit-wise, and anything I have to do with my business easily searchable credit-wise, because it's all the same person, and you can find me. That's what it wants to know. Like, you can find me. My number has not changed. Whoops, somebody left. Oh yeah, you know what? That person's not going to get the last one, because the last one is even better than the second and the first.
I love it.
So that's Google. Easy peasy. Too many people spend, I just didn't want to spend all the money. And now, people, my number one source is Google. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, the tide is turning. The thaw is coming. Winter in real estate is over right now for the season. I'm telling you, sow your seeds right now. Make sure that you are out there letting your people know, because when Amanda, when that snow melts, people are gonna be buying. I'll tell you right now, because through Google, with maybe a few repeat, maybe I have 3 repeat transactions, I'm going to close $4.8 million myself, me, not a team, me, with my admin in February. 4.8
Let's go.
And listen, guys, this is from Google. People Googling, finding me, and then me giving them something, and I'm going to explain the third one, me giving them something that they go, God, I do want to work with this guy. You are so good. The only reason why people are not working with you is because they don't know that you exist.
Because if they don't know you exist,
you're not an option.
thank you.
Guys, you're so good. It's so, I figured this out. I just figured it out. Listen, I figured it out. That's why my face is this way. I figured things out the hard way. Hey, listen, I'm resilient.
Amen.
Yes.
What's number 3 here? So we talked about, right? using my listings, adopting a mindset that the purpose of my listings is to inspire the hire on both the listing side and on the buyer side. We talked about showing up consistently, right? Because in this future we're living in, right, consistency equals authenticity, right, to our robot overlords. So let's make sure we're
100%.
consistent and then we show up vulnerably, authentically, right, in that profile, photos, right? Use your own voice, etc. These are basic brand things. What's number three to
And that's
dominate?
this is free stuff. These are the things that you should be already doing, right? I'm not having you sign up for anything extra. And the last but not least, quick story on this. I get done with the condo listing presentation. I'm sitting there. I asked the guy how he found me. He said, well, your face is all over the place, so it's hard to not find you. And then I'm looking on Zillow. You're all over the place on that. I kind of looked at you there. And so that's how I found you. I said, oh, man, great. He goes, I said, so what do you think about the presentation? Can I get some feedback? And he goes, yeah. You see this? And it was a stack of papers. And I was like, God, you got my record? Like, what the, how'd you get my record? I was like, I got a pepper past, you know what I mean? Like, that's all right. We had fun doing it. So he says, no, I chat GPT'd market value and how to market my home. And Paul, you 100% touched on everything that I read. And then immediately I went, oh shit, did you chat GPT me? And I was like, what is that gonna come up, right? And this is when it just started coming out. And so I'm like, oh my God, right? Like, listen, 1998, I was a raver, did some things, did some stupid stuff, got in trouble, went away for a while, right? So I'm thinking like, oh my God, is all that gonna come up? But so as soon as we left, he was like, you know what, Paul, you're amazing, you got the listing. So he gave me the listing. As soon as I left, I chat GPT myself, like, what does it say? Holy cow, what's it gonna say? And it came up. At this time, I hadn't ran any Ironman at this point yet. So it was just MMA and it was real estate. And so when I read it, I was like, well, that's not very inspiring. I mean, everything being equal, right? With agents being good, top producers, sold this many houses, what is going to inspire somebody to hire me? And so there was so much more that was missing. Like, number one, my why was missing. My biggest why. I have a son that's 6 years old. And when somebody says to him like, man, you're a lot like your father, I don't want that to be an insult. I'll say that again. When somebody says to my son, dang, you're just like your dad, I don't want that to be an insult. And so I'm going, that's missing. Like my son all the time. And then also what was missing was my faith. My faith and devotion, and God be the glory. Like, listen, I'm just the person that's stepping into the plan that he has. Every day, I don't try to look into the future, and I'm not a prisoner of my past. I'm a product of my future. And I know in the presence of where I'm at right now, God has a plan, and everything can fit in this box of good, right? You can easily, everybody's got a million excuses, but all you got to do is find one good one. Why are we worried about all the 100 other ones? We just got to find one good one. Why are you doing all the work to find 100? Just find one. And so what I did was, I said, you know what? How does ChatGPT work? I Googled my name again. Pulled up all the spots that I could stick a bio in there. And I rewrote my bio. How I'm a dedicated dad. Now I've done the Ironman, so it'll tell you like persistence with doing the Ironman, world champion in jiu-jitsu, MMA fighter, 5-0, top producer, right? Like that just shows dedication, resilience, inspiration, and the willingness to work. Because all things being equal, why are they going to pick you? Right? Why are they going to pick you? People like to work with somebody, but they absolutely love to connect. And if they connect with you, they'll keep you. So who are we attracting? By saying we're just the top producer, we might get somebody that's like, well, I just want the top agent. And then that's going to criticize you consistently about how you should be doing things. And I've got one like that right now that I had to tell her, hey, you got to chill out. You got to let me do my job. I'm the professional. I've got the results. You got to drop back on how I'm doing this, right? Like, this is how it's done. And if you don't, that's okay. You can work with somebody else. But I've got the receipts. And so I changed myself. I changed all of my bios so that people knew who I am, not just what I do. You guys, like, if you don't know who I am, there is on YouTube. It's called "Pain is a Privilege." It's a documentary on where I went through. I don't know if you can see. I went through a windshield. 30 and 60 days before my very first Ironman, and I sustained 88 stitches in my body, and I had 2 holes in my chest. And I recovered from that and still did the Ironman and did it in an hour faster than what I anticipated doing. It was 13 hours is when I wanted to do it. I did it in 12. That story shows resilience. That story shows commitment. I was committed to something. Now, I already asked the doctor. It wasn't about being tough. It was, can I do this without hurting myself? The doctor said yes. So then I spoke with God, and God said, I said, why do I do this? He says, because you can. I've given you the legs. I've given you the ability. I've given you the athleticism. I've given you the motivation. That's why you have to do it. You have to do it to inspire others, to show that even though this catastrophic thing has happened, you still don't get off the path that I have for you. If I can, I must. And so kind of went off the path a little bit, but that is in my bio. That is a story that I'm telling people that inspires others.
Paulie, I love this, right? Because what are we talking about here? We're talking about what we do in the little things. My friend David Breckheimer says this. Go back and watch his episode, because if you love what Paulie did, he has a 5x5 system talking about, here's the 5 questions where you audit every system in your life, in your business, by your 5 core values. Because what we do in anything is how we show up in everything, right? And so what I love here is, do we agree that Paulie's pretty clear in his values? Do you have a clear idea this is a man that knows what he's about and can tell you why he's doing what he's doing? Yes. Great. That's step 1. Maybe I have some clarity on my values. Step 2 is, now how do I make sure I'm showing up consistently? I'm living my values, right? With how my work product is. Same exact thing. That is my in-person resume. Then with Google, I'm getting consistent. And then same thing here, right? With ChatGPT. ChatGPT is a large language model, so Google is a little more technical, right? Is everything showing up exactly the same for Google? And then how am I optimizing that with photos, etc.? But with ChatGPT, it was, I have to go articulate my values publicly, right? I've got to synthesize that experience that I had, put it in there, tell you, right, why, hey, this is why resilience is important to me. This is how it shows up in my life. Whether I'm doing jujitsu, whether I'm doing an Ironman, or whether, right, I'm in my day-to-day work when you see me doing Labor Days. This is how I'm showing up, right? Articulating that now. So when ChatGPT does that, when you Google ChatGPT, everybody go play around on your own. Go look Paulie up. Ask ChatGPT about Paulie and see what kind of narrative is crafted about him, because he created the ingredients for that story.
Right? And you have to be authentic to this, guys. You can't, you know what, like, at the end of the day, one of the things that I live by, one of my mottos is, don't seek to be known, seek to be worth knowing. And when you're worth knowing, then you have the confidence to let people know who you are. Because if they don't use you, they're going to get hurt by somebody else. And that's not okay. Like, that's not okay. What are you doing to step in the middle of that, to make sure that people are taken care of properly? And so in the end, we talk about alignment equals authority, right? And when we align all of these things, number 1, the listing, number 2, our Google, number 3, our ChatGPT, we then become the authority when people start to really search, because people are searching now. They're going to see your listing. Wow, love that. Who is this Corey guy? Okay, cool. Let me see where he ranks on Google. And then they go, ChatGPT, tell me about Beverly. And when it comes up, boom, wow, you know what? This person is solid. They lead with servant leadership. That's my number one core value. They lead with servant leadership. I want that kind of leadership in my life. So we no longer list to sell, we list to inspire the hire. And if the one thing is done right, and that is to use our listings and our profiles to get buyers and make sure we optimize it that way, you 100% will sell your properties. It's the one thing. We're in a season right now, and this real estate is absolutely 100% thawing. If you are relaxed on any of this stuff, people are going to start searching, and you're going to get caught in the tide of everybody else trying to catch up. So I'm giving you the homework right now to, one, go look at your listings. How are you optimizing every single site that it's on? If it has a document section, put a document section in there. If it has 5 pictures, put 5 pictures and not 3. And then if you got Google, make sure that you're going to all your profiles and putting your information in correctly the same way in every single thing. And then number 3, update your bio so that ChatGPT not only talks about you being as successful as you are, but even if you're a new agent, how dedicated you are to the process, and share some of the things that you've accomplished in your life so that people can understand, like, hey, if they've done that, I know that they would take care of me over here, and I want to use that person and give that person the opportunity because they are worth knowing. And that's it.
Holly, I love that. Right. I when you said it's not desires not to be known, it's worth knowing, I was reminded of Nathaniel Brandon wrote the 4 pillars of self-esteem, invented the concept. He said self-esteem is based upon esteemable action. Right? These are core principles. These things keep showing up again and again. Different. Use the language that resonates with you. There's not a coincidence, right? We're talking about universal ideas here. I love this. Who's got a question for this? We got a few minutes with Paul. Who's got a question? Who's got a listing that is sitting that is not moving, right? Who's trying to adapt to this market? Who's ready to go home and go break out the mulch for some clients? Who's taking action?
Right. And guys, if you have a listing that's sitting, go through it right now. If it's been sitting for a little while, go through what's all these other sites and search and see what maybe you're not optimizing and what doesn't look so like what does need to be changed. Does it need to have new pictures, right? Also communicating the effort in which you're doing to inspire your sellers. I know that the house isn't moving right now, and where are we at with price? One of 3 things is going to happen. It's either going to sell right away, it's going to stay on the market, and it's going to get a lot of showings, or nobody's going to come. If it sells right away, great. If we're getting showings, but nobody's putting in an offer, we're off on price just by a little bit. That means that the marketing is working. If we're getting nothing, but we've done everything on our end, that means that it's overpriced and we need to make an adjustment. But here's the thing that I'm willing to do right now. If you make an adjustment, I am 100% willing to retake these pictures and do a couple other little things before we go back on the before we make the price adjustment so that it looks fresh and new. Right now we might have to spend a little bit of money more to get ahead. But listen, with all things being equal, if you're having to do that, the next agent is having to do that. The question is the next agent doing that? And if the next agent is not doing that, you just provided value. And I guarantee you this, the seller will end up giving you a referral for the stuff that you did. For the stuff that you did, that they're like, wow, he went and did that. His effort is there. When you go, hey, the listing expired, I'd like to move on. They'll 100% do it because they know that nobody else is doing it.
Corey, you on here? So this is we've got, the inventory that sits there. Corey, give a brief synopsis just very quickly. We send out a marketing report, Polly. The admin does it every single week. There is a marketing report. We pull our market data. We pull the views off of the portals. We show our showing data internally, give them some statistics about just the market overall, like activity levels. and then Corey's calling them every single Tuesday. What have you seen from doing that? Corey took 67 listings last year. So what have
Nice.
you seen? So it's a lot of inventory to carry. It didn't all sell last year, right? They're not every one of those was like an amazing, oh man, I love putting this one on the market. It's going to sell tomorrow,
Right.
right? What have you seen from making like those calls consistently, talking about that, Paulie, showing your effort, different way to show your effort, right?
Yeah, it's setting a promise and an expectation on the front end. Like this is what you can expect from us from a communication standpoint. So we tell them every single week, you're going to get a marketing update email from our admin team that's going to show you all of the activity that we're seeing online, as well as feedback that we're getting from showing. So you get that as an email report. That's going to show up either like Monday or Tuesday, depending on where that falls in our admin's workflow. From there, every single Tuesday afternoon, you will get a phone call from me personally. We might have just a quick conversation. Hey, things are moving along. Same thing to your point, Paulie. Like if we're getting some showings and activity, but no real quiet offers, we might be close. But it's an opportunity for us just to connect every week, be able for you to ask some questions. Certainly, you can text me throughout the week or call me later. But that's the expectation I'm setting. And what it does is you're showing up consistently, you're putting in effort, you're making yourself open to communication. Like I never want to have that situation where I have a seller, say that, well, I never heard from my agent, because I would hear that going on appointments. Well, I just never heard from him. There was no communication. Like, so I refuse to be that person. I'm setting an expectation on the front end. Like this is when you will hear from me. I will reach out and we have a chance to have a conversation. And then from there, we can look at what's the activity, what's the market doing. We look at I have a framework I use for setting those kind of expectations for market activity. For me, that's my rule of 10. That's if we go 10 consecutive days and no showings, or we get 10 showings and we've not had an offer, that's the market telling us that we might be off somewhere between marketing condition or price or some combination of the three. And when we talk on Tuesday, we can take an objective look at that and see where there's any gaps that might need to be filled. And we can just have a conversation. And what it does is it makes those tough conversations, say if it comes to reducing price, just that much easier. You're just kind of giving yourself the runway to do it.
Hear the talk track? You think he says the same thing every time? If you're resistant to scripts, like I was resistant to scripts, resistant to affirmations, when you do it the same way again and again and again, it creates familiarity, it creates predictability, right? So there's different ways to do that, Paulie. To your point,
100% confidence. Confidence is king, right? And so when you create clarity, you create certainty. So what I have the three C's: you create clarity, you create certainty, certainty creates competence, competence creates confidence, right? So with clarity on what are we going to do? This is what we're going to do. We're going to call you. This is what the 10 things that are going to happen. We're going to get 10 days. We're going to get 10 showings. Okay. And then here's a certainty. I'm going to call you. We're going to have that conversation 100% because we have the clarity on what it is. We're going to have that conversation. Once I have that conversation, we're going to get the competence of what the market is doing and how you're doing it and what's going on with your customer, right? Your customer's going to feel competent. And when your customer feels competent about what's going on, they have confidence that you're doing the job right. So if we keep those four C's in the top of mind when we're doing every single thing in our process, it makes it so much easier. But it's when we hide, we don't have very much clarity on what we're going to do or how we're going to do it. So look at your process. Is there clarity in your process? Because if there's no clarity in your process, you can't be certain, you can't be competent, and you're definitely not going to be confident.
I love it. Anybody got any questions for Paulie? Otherwise, I'm going to let you get on and go take territory on this Take Territory Tuesday. We got the whole team out here. Corey's, I can't move it. They're all sitting out here. Corey's out here, right here, about to go get on the phones, Paulie. Lead generate for 2 hours.
I love it.
I have a question.
Yes, please go.
Paula.
Hi, everybody. My name is Paula. Hello, you hear me?
Paula.
Yeah.
Hi, guys. Hey, this is awesome, by the way. I love the energy.
Thank you.
I have a question. I have a client right now that's going through probate. Do you have any advice on that?
That's probably going to be a Justin question, but as far as what I got, whenever we have a probate situation, it's obviously has to do with lawyers and stuff and time. And so I have one right now that has been going for almost a year. It's
Oh,
pretty
no.
bad. Like it's just all over the place, right? And it was an older lady, and thank God she has a daughter who is more engaged with helping push the probate along. But it is a process that has to do with, like, obviously the law and the system and how many kids down and who's got the right to survivorship and all of that stuff. It's really just staying on top of the days and notifications that are required in order to push it through. Right? Don't set it and forget it, because lawyers, they want, the longer it sits in probate, the more money they get paid. So you want to get to a point where you're bugging them so much, they're like, oh my God, I just want to get Paula to not call me anymore. I'm gonna finish this, Paul. I'm gonna get it done, right? But they will test you, and honestly, that's where you have to have that compassion part, right? And stay in communication as much as you can with the customer, so that the customer knows. Now, the customer might be frustrated as well, right? And when your customer's frustrated, I would say always think like, well, here's the thing. This is the process that we have to do in order to get this done. It is super frustrating, especially for me as well. But by staying on it, we can get this behind us. So let's just keep on doing what they're asking us to do. It's ridiculous. I get it. But hey, our hands are tied until we can get to the bottom of this. So let's just keep pressing forward and kind of lean in with that encouragement, like match the tone of whatever your buyer or your seller might be in that situation. And then when it comes down to actually executing, like the actual process and of administering it through the whole process, staying on top of the people that need to be stayed on top of, that have the answers. And most of the times it's the lawyers with the filing of paperwork and stuff like that. So
I
let's
love
talk.
it.
Hey, Paula, what state are you in?
Oh, there you go.
Well,
Hey,
right, this has been going on since last year. She died in
if
mom died.
if I may, Paola, you
Yeah.
know me. You're interviewing. Come talk to me. This
Yeah,
weekend,
talk
you're in the
to
state of
yeah.
Tennessee. You know, Paula does my open houses. I love you, Paula. So what I will say, just for the call real fast, because just there's people who are not in different states, is from working in this industry, working on the REO side and the probate side, doing short sales, like living through the crash as a mortgage broker. One thing, Paul nailed everything I would say. The one last thing I would say is when you're dealing with this, what's going to distinguish you from your competition, because hopefully they all have, we know the process, I'm engaged with a professional helping us push through the process, etc. What's going to distinguish me is my empathy, right? That going through this process, I've seen it before. I had two sisters that had inherited property from mom. They couldn't bear to go back and deal with it, right? Had a family member and an aunt living in the house. The brother was going to buy it directly. I offered to be involved in that negotiation. They chose not to do that. By the end of it, they were no longer talking to that brother. Those two sisters had no longer talking to each other. And the one that was incredibly businesslike and couldn't get a rapport with at the very end was so warm and so gracious, because she has a way she shows up when she does business, right? That disc, that adaptive and the natural. When she's doing business, she is all business. And I realized, like, oh man, sometimes a tough cookie, right?
That's the one you want to break.
They think the world is tough
Yeah.
because they get toughness back. And so just treating them with profound empathy, because like this is all because of the death of a loved one.
Yep.
Grief is
Right.
going to show up there.
I say everything. I say with that. I say put everything into a perspective of good, right? So you get cut off in traffic. Think that person is rushing to the hospital because someone that they love just got hurt and is going in an ambulance, right? Somebody wants to curse at you or be mean. Think that that person is just fought with somebody that they love so much and they're feeling betrayal, right? If you put that in everything in a good, I say meet people where they're at, keep them where they belong. Meet people where they're at, keep them where they belong. Don't let them get in your space or change who you are. I will meet you where you're at. You cut me off. Okay, have a nice day. Have a good one. And you know what? You belong where you belong, but it's not going to affect me, right? Like, keep that in top of mind, and that's going to help with your mindset all across the board. And guys, I want to share this one more with you. So I am a coach of Glover U, but I am a presenter on mindset. So I am the organization that has about 30,000 agents that are involved in it, and I am the mindset coach for this organization. Every Monday for 20 minutes at 11 o'clock Eastern, which is after you do your prospecting, or 10 o'clock Central Time, my time, I do a 20-minute coaching session on mindset and a specific thing that we focus on to move your business forward. Right now, we just discussed Midway Mayday. Midway Mayday means that if you're not up to your goal right now by February 15th and you're behind, here are the things that you can do. And we give you things that you could do to increase your business and help you with your business. If right now, we also talked about the day before that, if you're looking at your goal and you feel like you're behind, what are you measuring that on? Are you measuring your goal on, if I want to do 100 houses, I've got to do 25 houses a quarter? If you're measuring it like that, you're not measuring it correctly, because all across the United States, the statistics say that 15% of your business is done in the first quarter, 25% is done in the second quarter, and then it's 30 and 30 in the third and fourth quarter. So if you're at 15% of what your goal is, you are actually on track right now to reach your goal. So do not panic. But what do we do, and how do we shift our mindset to make sure that we are fully engaged every single week at the beginning of the week? If you text 55444 and that mindset to that number, it's $99 a month. You get me 4 days out of the month for 20 minutes, and we talk on a high level implementation on something that is being used by one-on-one coaching clients and also the organization as a whole. It by far is the greatest investment. If you're not already in coaching, or you are in coaching, it's a great thing to just add on to that so that you can go and continue to crush your business every single day. That's it.
Thank you. Right. If you're here, 7 levels of freedom that we talk about in Grid. Level 1 is energy, identity, mindset. It is your foundation. It is the most important level. Without a foundation, right, we're going to crumble. Paul, thank you. What a great way to start the day. Go be excellent. I got to go take some territory. Hope you all do too.
Let's go.